bhakti Namaste Sarasati Devi Gauravani Chaline Renunciation Pashtatara Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. Okay, just for your interest, where this is the subjects we're going to be, what the questions are based on, and we're here now, and we're going to be coming here today. So we're just halfway, okay? We're halfway, so there's a lot more questions to go. Well, we're about halfway, so we've yet to cover these questions here. All right. So last week we got as far as here on the subject, we just opened on the subject of pure devotion. And we covered this question: can devotees go back to Godhead in this lifetime? The essence was yes. And Maharaj brought up the question. He brought up another question based on doubts in here: is do we have faith in Srila Prabhupada, who gave us assurance that if we followed his teachings with sincerity, if we follow the process of Krishna consciousness, we do have the opportunity to go back in this lifetime. So he brought up the question: how much faith do we have in that? Yeah, so that was what we finished off last week. So then we come into question 2. This one I think is going to be relatively simple to answer if you go in the right direction. The visible symptoms of surrender. And we have, of course, we've spoken about it because these questions are based on what we have spoken about in Sudha Bhakti Chintamani. But I'll ask that question, and if you want, I give you a clue, but I won't give you a clue yet. See if you can get it. All learned scholars out there, learned Vaisnavas, Pandits.
What is the question? What are the visible symptoms of surrender? Yeah, is that the question?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's the way that one behaves, how one behaves, how one is detached from material desires, how they're developing their spiritual desires, like that. I don't know.
But that may be, that's kind of more the symptoms of advancement. So, but here,
would that be
following the instruction of spiritual master? Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say that for spiritual master's instructions.
How well one can follow?
No.
Someone, Murli Prabhu, let us know,
only
please.
accepting only things that are, sorry. Yes,
sorry, Mother Sahachari?
Accepting only the things that are favorable for a devotional service.
And accepting things.
And rejecting that are not.
Oh, yes, the instructions in Nectar of Instruction.
Yeah.
What's favorable, what's not favorable, what's, yeah.
Yeah, Mother Sahachari has taken us in the right direction. Yes, that is the answer. You might have got it, the 6, well, it says here the 6 symptoms of surrender.
Of surrender, yeah.
Yeah, in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. So they are accepting things favorable to devotional service. 1, 2, rejecting things unfavorable. 3, the conviction that Krishna will give all protection. 4, the acceptance of the Lord as one's guardian and master, and full self-surrender and utter humility. Yeah, that's the path. Another name given it, the path of Sharanagati, the path of surrender. Yeah, and it's given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, writes songs on each of these symptoms of surrender. So if we want to see how much we or others are surrendered, how much have we imbibed these principles? So that's the interesting visible symptoms of surrender. Yeah. Okay. So Well done, Mother Sahachari. She took us in the right direction. Correct. Number 3, bit technical. What is a need? What need is there for a detailed study of Srila Rupa Goswami's already famous sloka, anyabhilasita-sunyam? But first of all, can anyone know that sloka?
I heard all the time.
Yeah.
Prabhupada always says that, yes, in his lectures.
Yeah, it's the most important verse in the nectar of devotion.
So unmotivated and uninterrupted devotional service.
No, that's from that's from nectar devotion, but this is anyabhilasita-sunyam
anukulyena krishnanam silanam
bhakti.
uttamam. Yeah.
So this is first class devotional service, so devoid of material desire, devoid of the desire for liberation, devoid of fruitive work, and done in a favorable mood, done favorably. So why study it? Because Srila Bhakti we did an exhaustive analysis of this sloka. Right, perhaps
well, I think, as you say, why do we study it? We study it obviously for our spiritual path, so to understand our path for the journey going towards that, isn't it, right? Or
yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, we've all got a specific capacity for this type of study, but whatever the capacity we have, we should use it. We should use it. Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita, it said that Krishna asked to worship him with our intelligence. Yeah. So whatever capacity we have for understanding the details, say for example, this particular sloka, yeah, then that's a way of cultivating devotion to Krishna. And also it's very important because specifically this sloka helps us to understand what is pure devotion and what is not. So basically, but the answer here, Maharaj, is indicating that we should engage our intelligence. Yeah, and we all have intelligence, all have different capacities. So we should use it in the service, like we have in these sanghas. So we're discussing philosophy and we're looking at questions, looking at the philosophy from different angles of vision, trying to understand it, even thinking about trying to answer these questions is all surrendering our intelligence. Yeah. So that's that now. I hope I don't run out of questions. Let's see how we go. I was a bit tired today, so I didn't put so many questions up, but let's see how we go. In the presence of the word anukulyena, meaning with a favorable attitude, what need is there to further qualify bhakti with the word anusilanam, which means cultivation? Wow. If anyone gets that, you get a free cheesecake from Govinda's restaurant.
which one, in manner or in
Govinda's.
Okay, I thought you're gonna bring from manner.
Can you break down the question? So in the presence of the word anukulyena.
So yes, so this verse, anyabhilasita-sunyam jnana kamani anavadhutam, anukulyena is the third line. And it means, as we said, it means you're favorably. So, but that's further qualified by the word cultivation, anusilanam. So what is Rupa Goswami hinting at there? Why has he further expanded on the word anukulyena by using the word cultivation?
Because it has to be cultivated. It has to be, you have to develop that attitude.
Yeah, I mean, that's correct, but it's not what.
We have to
Okay.
we have to
Go
follow
on.
in the footsteps of the senior
Acharyas.
devotees or acharyas.
Yeah, this is correct. You're probably going. You probably to actually answer this question, you have to go specifically to where this is explained. I mean, these are correct answers, but it's not the correct answer. If that makes sense.
But isn't it what's favorable should be cultivated?
Yeah, you're answering in a different direction.
Okay. Explain
Wrong
it
one.
then.
Wrong one.
Yeah.
Come on, Murli Prabhu, let us know, please.
Okay. So
Is it
We
without
have to be first.
expecting repetitive results, Prabhu?
Shauda, is it not exactly? I'll explain. Here what Maharaj is hinting at here, I'm not hinting at, he's explaining of Shashi Srila of Chakravarti Thakur, that here he establishes, in other words, the meaning of pure devotion is not only established by by the absence of a inimical attitude. Yeah. And then he mentions that a clay pot has no animosity towards Krishna. There has to be more. I mean, that's correct. It should be, but because the clay pot doesn't have a service attitude or doesn't engage in active service. So it's not enough just to say that one should have a favorable attitude. That attitude has to come out and manifest itself in a practical way as service to Krishna. You follow? So it's a good lesson there. It's good. Okay, just again, the clay pot doesn't have any animosity towards Krishna, but also it's not serving Krishna. So this word anusilanam gives a further definition of bhakti. It fills it out more. You follow? And I think someone said as type of cultivation, yeah, he did it first, like, but just highlighting the fact that the word anukulyena, it needs more definition. Bhakti, pure devotion, needs a more broader definition. So then Rupa Goswami has mentioned cultivation or service. Yeah. And let me just, and another point here, I'll just read this part. On the last point, anukulyena, Srila Prabhupada and his predecessors concur that because Krishna's devotees and paraphernalia are integral to Krishna's service, service with the intent to please them also constitutes pure devotion. So serving Krishna, obvious, but also serving his devotees or serving his mission, that also comes under the context of anusilanam. Yeah. He said, then does Srila Goswami use the word anukulyena in conjunction with Krishna anusilanam. So that's a more perfect understanding, yeah, against all other arguments. All right.
Does it mean that we have to cultivate the attitude of serving the Lord and his devotees?
Yeah, that's all come. Yeah. So in fact, yeah, it does that. That is correct. So Prabhupada gave us a mission. Prabhupada didn't just give us a philosophy. Yeah, he gave us a mission, and he gave us service. And we have temples, and there's you have your service at home, deity worship, whatever it may be. Yeah. So cultivation. If I've understood that correctly, what I'm just reading from here from the Sudha Bhakti Chattamani, I hope I identified the correct place where this question was answered. And this is a question that sometimes comes up when we hear about we should be free of all desire. Then what about the desire to advance in devotional service? Isn't that for us? Isn't that, you know, as soon as we say, as soon as we desire something, isn't that something selfish? You know, we desire to advance. Like Mother Yasoda, she's not desiring to advance in devotion. She's just desiring to take care of Krishna. You know, so to attain this desireless, should one give up the desire to advance in devotional service? Is that the type of mentality that we're aiming at?
Well, if
So
you want
can we
to,
say
Murli
that
Prabhu, sorry,
So let's, Shruniti Priya, you go first.
what I was saying, that if we are on that path, you know, we want pure devotional service. We want a pure devotional to get a pure, you know, high path, bhakti, and the next one. So obviously, we are aiming for pure devotion. You know.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're aiming. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think you're implying that. Am I correct in saying you're implying that we should not give up the desire to advance in devotional service? That's what you're implying, isn't it?
Yeah, so we are not. We are actually. This is our path. So this is what we are aiming for, and that's the only goal of our life. So we are not desiring anything else, and this is why all of us are very surrendered to the Lord. You know. So
Yeah,
we are aiming in that path as well.
Yes. So, yeah, someone else had a comment on this?
yeah, instead of focusing on anartha nivrittis, our mood should be like focusing on artha pravritti?
Yeah, that's a nice discussion we had, isn't it? Yeah, that's a good point to bring up. You can connect it to this question to some degree. We should be over obsessed at some point. We have to be, especially in the beginning, but at some point we should be gathering good things in our heart, you know, and that will automatically flood out the bad things. So we're not just trying to, we're actually, the bad things will go automatically if we put good things in our heart. Yeah.
That's a good point.
I was thinking, I'm just thinking, you know, when we studied that even tiniest anasas are left till we really reach even bhava platform, right? So
Yeah.
it is, you know, like devotees say, oh, I don't take initiation, I can't do this, I'm so fallen, I'm so conditioned. But we have to change that attitude. Yes, we are totally all conditioned, but we have to take up this path and just become serious, and we will get purified eventually. But we have to have that in that, like when you see anything in other devotees, you just have to understand that we are on this path and nobody's perfect. That's why we're here. And everybody's got anasas in a different way. They act in a different way because of their anasas. But look at it positively, that we are following the path and we will get purified. And that person will get purified. You'll get purified. Everybody will get purified if followed strictly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And you're bringing up, I think you're bringing up a particular mentality where sometimes devotees may become apathetic to the challenge of becoming Krishna conscious. They become, for them, it's all too much, you know. So you think you're addressing that point, which is very good that you're making. No, we have to, because undermining that, actually, the statement that it's all too much, actually underlining that is actually I'm becoming more attracted to material life again. So therefore, what I'm being presented here on this path of Krishna consciousness is actually too much. But they won't be honest and say that. Oh, actually, I'm becoming more attracted to my life before. Actually, I really want to go back to what I was before. I really want to go watch films. I really want to go to any restaurant I want. I really want to get drunk every now and again. You know, I really don't want to have to chant 16 rounds every day. That's what's going on, but it's sometimes presented as oh, it's too much.
I'm
But
following, like,
yeah, so John always bring up a good point that we have to, you know, because you're all senior persons, so you all probably got persons you're preaching to, people you're meeting. You're going to meet people been practicing for 1 or 2 years, 3 years, and sometimes they might get despondent. So you have to encourage them. Yeah. So that's it's a good side point we're making. Mother Chandra was making. But basically, the answer to this question is that no, we should not give up the desire to advance the devotional service. That's the only intrinsic desire of the soul proper, is to obtain Krishna. So we should never give that up, and to attain prema. We should always be desiring to go forward, and that's okay. That is actually, you can understand this must be like a young devotees or Kanishta understanding when they start to hear about we have to be free of all desires, and then they come up with this bright question. Oh, should we be, so that means we shouldn't desire to advance in spiritual life. No, how are you going to advance if you don't desire to advance? So someone might artificially, in one sense, one might artificially try and put themselves on the platform of Mother Yasoda. But that's just ridiculous. You know, we are not at that platform. You know, well, she's not desiring to advance, she's just desiring to love and take care of Krishna. Anyway, well done. That was good.
I can say something on this, that when we were new in Krishna conscious, at that time there was no mentoring, counseling groups or anything. We just went as how people would say, oh, go for it. You'll be happy in the end. Go for it and take initiation. And that's how we used to take, because the only person who talks to us were like people who introduced us to Krishna consciousness. And they would say, oh, you must chant 16 rounds, full stop, you know. And you must do this, and that is the path to Golok Vrindavan, to Krishna. And we always, I thought it was so easy, literally, chanting and going back. Oh, yeah, but then we had to take initiation. There were no sort of like formal exams now that everybody has, like Jayapataka Maharaj's question on surrender, and why you want to take initiation, and so many questions. We didn't have anything in our time, in my time anyway.
Yeah. So folks will open up. Are you saying that was better then?
I feel it is better because you went in not with your eyes closed, but because you wanted to get something superior, something more ultimate, something that you are not getting satisfied in material world, and you wanted more and more, and you read, but you wanted more. You know, more the truth.
Right.
You wanted to know the truth, where you are from, what is your intention, who are you, and what is your relationship. We knew as God, right, or some name. And everybody was God, like Shiva was God, Ram was God, everybody was God. But then the question was, who is the highest? There must be something, somebody. And that's when I heard first time Godhead. And I thought, Godhead, there is a Godhead? And that's when I realized that there is a Godhead.
So it sounds like there was some kind of, you could say, education for yourself in bhakti and what it was about. It wasn't devoid of that.
Yes.
Because you had different questions and they was answered.
Yes.
And I mean, the process of spiritual life, it's based on questions and answers.
Yes.
You know? So yeah, so perhaps you experienced that there wasn't like Bhakti Sastri and things like that.
There wasn't anything like that at the time. I had a few questions asked by my Guru Maharaj. Why do you want to? And do you know the basic principles. Obviously,
Yeah,
that
and
were taught as
same
soon
with
as you come in.
Prabhupada's time, it was like that. But then Prabhupada, it was Srila Prabhupada himself who introduced Bhakti Sastri,
Yes.
Bhakti Prabhupada. It was Prabhupada's request after observing the struggles of his initiated devotees. And he wanted to make sure devotees were becoming educated in his books. And as we know, he was very disappointed at devotees who weren't making use of his books and weren't studying.
Mm.
Yeah, and also it should be in that as we go on in spiritual life, it should be natural that we have questions. The nature of the questions will change, but that's spiritual life. I mean, that's what guru's for.
Yes.
To ask questions. The nature of the questions may change. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So it has its role, but your point is, yeah, I appreciate that point. All right, so let's go on. And do unwanted desires linger in the heart disqualify devotees from practicing pure devotion? Now, okay, have a gamble, or not a gamble. What's your educated answer to this question? Okay, so there's all types of unpleasant things in my heart, all different, gross or subtle. How is the path of pure devotion open to me?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Can you elaborate more, someone?
The lingering desires are in everybody's heart, till you get purification, proper purification. So step by step, yes, you can, by practicing, by chanting, by doing a little bit of service, cleaning the temple. I mean, small services actually purifies us, not only big services, because Krishna looks at every service. So eventually he purifies us.
Yeah, that's correct. So basically, that's correct. We have faith.
I was thinking, sorry.
Go on, Chandravali.
I was just quickly thinking that we have desires all the time. Every second there's a desire, material desires or a spiritual. We just have to change the material desires, following the spiritual path, devotional service. They will be changed into desiring desires spiritually.
Yeah, that's perhaps one of the fundamental points of Krishna consciousness, is that we just transform desire. We don't try to snuff out desire. It's not possible. The soul is always desirous, but we transform it. Like, instead of desiring a material thing, you desire to make garlands for Krishna, desire to cook for Krishna, desire to chant for Krishna, like that. But actually, another, what Marge mentions here, what is mentioned coming from the Srimad Bhagavatam, actually, is that, these things may linger in the heart. These unwanted shadows of material life and attachment may linger in the heart, but one still serves with pure faith in achieving the ultimate principle, which is Krishna. And there's one verse that he alludes to. He doesn't quote the whole thing. It's quite well known. It's in the 11th canto, where devotees sometimes may even fall down, let alone desires lingering in the heart. They may jump out the heart and kind of make a mess of one's spiritual life, but still they're eligible to practice pure devotion, because they become sincerely repentant. Just, if I remember paraphrasing the verse, it's along the lines of, "Oh my Lord, I'm so fallen, I'm so disqualified, I'm so this, I'm so that, but still, I'm not going to give you up, my Lord. I'm going to continue." So that's an attitude of pure devotion. Now, it's something else if one begins to justify one's wayward, acts, then that's something else. So it doesn't. So unwanted desires linger in the heart. They do not disqualify us from the principle of having pure faith in Krishna and in Krishna's ability to purify us. At some point, Krishna's grace, Krishna's mercy, and Krishna's kindness. Yeah, so we carry on. So yeah, so the answer is hearty no. Yeah, lingering desires do not disqualify a devotee from practicing pure devotion. Yeah.
But Prabhu, we have to keep on praying to the Lord, because Maya is so strong, these desires will pop in. So we have to keep praying. And like the last verse of the Shishastakam, you said just now the meaning. Whether, my Lord, I'm a poor person, whether I deserve it or not, for your mercy, but I have no shelter other than you. So you do whatever you like with me. So we have to pray, otherwise these desires won't go.
Yeah, that's the principle of pure faith. That's kind of the inner world of a devotee, is that we all have this, we should have this disposition where our life is one, actually, it should be one of constant prayer. Yeah. I mean, we chant 2 hours a day on our japa, and that's a prayer. We're begging for Lord's mercy. But other times are always praying to the Lord. I think my spiritual master mentioned recently that I saw we should always pray to the deities for whatever we want to do. Yeah, Mother Shout is correct. Thank you for bringing that out. That it's a general principle of someone who's devoted to God is to pray. Pray formally. You could say chanting japa is not informal. It's not formal. It's informal. But at the same time, we've been told to do that. We've been advised to do that, and that's what we do. But over and above that, we should be it's healthy to be in the mood of complete dependence upon the Lord. It's healthy, you know. And sometimes that can be, I mean, that means spiritual anxiety. Because if you're praying, that means you're unsure about your position. Isn't it? You're unsure where you actually stand. And you're feeling dependent upon the Lord. So, but that's good. That's good. And if we are, and to that degree that we're dependent on the Lord, then we're going to be empowered by the Lord.
Yeah.
Krishna is going to entrust us with his grace, and is going to empower us if we admit our actual dependence upon him. But if we're proud, then we're just going to function according to our karma, and who's to know what's going to happen there, you know? Yeah, so very good point. Thank you for bringing it out, Mama Michelle, this principle of prayer. Yeah, despite what's going on. Yeah.
Didn't Prabhupada say that he's worried that the devotees they're not scared of Maya, they're not praying enough, you know?
Yeah. Prabhupada identified that as 2 problems for his followers. So that means us, just disciples and followers, is that they're not afraid. I think one, they're not afraid of Maya. What was the other?
Maya. They're not afraid Maya. And Prabhupada also said that if you got any problems or anything, just go to Krishna Balaram, you know. And I was listening to Pankaj Prabhu, and he was saying that like Radha Madhav, like Radha Landan Ishwar, they are too busy in their pastimes. You don't need to upset their pastimes. Go to Krishna Balaram, like go to Jagannath Baladev, you know.
Really said that, yeah. Anyway, we could say, yeah, that's correct. But in one sense, they're there, they're in front of us, Radha Krishna, and they're manifesting the Archa Murti. So they accept, and they're there to accept our prayers as well. But that's an interesting.
Yeah, it's just I was listening to something, and when he said, I was like Nishingadev. I was listening about Nishingadev. Yeah, Radha Krishna is too busy, you know, but you go to Nishingadev and pray to him, you know.
So that's their mood in Mayapur. That's their context.
Yes. But I can understand the mood, you know, like the advanced devotees wouldn't not want to like pure devotees. They go into this Asakalya Leela, like Radha Krishna is in their pastime, so don't disturb them. You want to serve them. You don't want to disturb them. So
but in relation to what we're just speaking about, we're not speaking about praying for things, praying for stuff, praying for things. We're actually praying for the ability to take shelter of Krishna and to not be bewildered.
Yeah.
So we're not, what's discouraged, disturbing Krishna. Oh, Krishna, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? I mean, Krishna knows what's best for us, so we should leave it. We should leave our life up to him, and we spend our time serving him to the best of our ability. Of course, it depends on also anyabhilasita-sunyam. What's that verse? Kamo shavo kamo va says in Bhagavatam. Even if you should go to Krishna. So some persons, they may be at that stage where they're praying, that they are desperate for them. They're desperate in material life, and they come to Krishna. So you don't want to disturb them coming to Krishna. You want to encourage them to go to Krishna.
Yeah, but we can kind of pray to Krishna, Radha Krishna, but we can always say with it, if they desire. Like, why if they desire? I'd like this, but if that's what you desire, I'd like it to be like this. Or,
Please, if you desire, I wish to have a penthouse suite. Please, if you desire.
Please, if you desire, can I have Krishna prema now?
Yeah.
That's the verse. You are the verse quoting. Kam kam sarva kam moksha mudarina.
Yeah. But so different moods of prayer there. But the mood we're kind of bringing out here is that dependence on Krishna. Yeah. So wow, that's quite a big. What question was that? How can the first one, wasn't it? So number 7. How can devotees practice superior renunciation? So first, what is superior renunciation? There's a verse that this is referring to, or a principle. We might remember the principle. What is superior renunciation?
Is that understanding that everything is belonging to Krishna and we can use it?
That's correct. Yeah. Yukta vairagya. Yeah. So inferior renunciation is giving up things, not knowing that everything is related to Krishna and can be used in his service. Yeah. That's called inferior renunciation or false renunciation. Anyone can remember the verse? Forget now, Nectar of Devotion. Sorry, say again, Rob Shoulder.
I don't remember the old 4 lines.
Yeah.
Yuktahara viharasya yukta karmasya sadmashu.
Yeah, we're getting it bit by bit.
I forgot the next 2 lines. Yeah.
Anyway, you can look after this, but the main point in the line is yukta vairagya. So how can we practice that renunciation?
Using everything for Krishna's service without expecting anything for our return.
Yeah.
It belongs to Krishna, everything.
Actually, the answer that Maharaj gives is we have already just discussed it. Actually, first of all, we understand that we can't be free of desire. Yeah.
No, we
Body
can't.
persons can't be free, or can't be completely free of renouncing the sense objects. Yeah. But we just change our mentality towards them. So instead of gathering sense objects for us, we gather the items of this world for Krishna. Yeah. Instead of picking a rose for us, we're going to pick a rose and we're going to offer it to Krishna. Yeah. Just like I'm staying here in this place here. And there's a classic English country garden behind me, with roses growing for Radha Gokulananda. So I've been given permission to pick one rose every day and offer it to Radha Nandaneshwar, the picture I have here. Yeah. So go out, pick a rose. When I don't smell it, I bring it in, I tap it, make sure there are insects in it, get it out and offer it to Krishna. Yeah. So that's a basic principle. That's what's been spoken of here, is we should think how to gather objects, sense objects for Krishna's pleasure. Yeah. But does Krishna need a rose, or does he need anything? He doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He's got everything. You only want your love.
Yeah, that's it. Patram is full of yeah. Krishna is encouraging us to do things with the main ingredient of love. But practically speaking, we see in the spiritual world, that's what they do. They bring drinks to Krishna, they fan Krishna, they massage Krishna, they cut fruits for Krishna, they dress Krishna, you know, they praise Krishna, they sing for Krishna, they dance for Krishna. You know, everything is for Krishna, for Radha and Krishna. You know?
Prabhu, the verse you were asking is this one.
Yeah, go on, please. Yeah.
Anashaktasya vinaya yatahar upaya jatu nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagya uchyate.
That's the one. Thank you. And there's the second part of it. Have you got the second part there?
No, I only got, this is what I was supposed to remember.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Mother Shalda.
That's okay.
That's the verse. That's the memorization verse for anyone who's planning to do Bhakti Sastri for nectar devotion. Yeah, so that's how we can be, I think, discuss that. I remember having a discussion how we can live like yogis in Camden Town. Yeah. Is that we do everything for Krishna. Food, we like, food we offer to Krishna. And it's good if we live, we're living in you're living in a flat or living in a room. So we are cleaning the flat, we're cleaning our house. For who? For Krishna. This is Krishna. Krishna's here on my altar. So I'm going to clean the house for him. Yeah. I'm going to clean the house for Gauritai. Yeah. Everything for them. Yeah, very good. So then we have 8. If a devotee cannot perform all the items of devotional service and must select one, which should he or she select? Have I got the answer here? Yes.
Chanting of the holy name.
Yeah. I think let's all raise a hand if we know that's the answer. Yes, that's the one. Yeah. It's very. So there's 9 limbs of bhakti, isn't it? Shravanam, Kedaram, Vishnu, Smrana, Parasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasya, Sakyam, Atmani, Bhedanam. Yeah. And then there's the 5 which are mentioned in nectar devotion.
Association, Dhamavas.
Living in the holy Dham, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam,
serving deities.
and chanting the holy name. Yeah. Now it's mentioned of, so associating with devotees, chanting Hari, of those 5, 3 are most important. Associating with devotees, chanting Hare Krishna, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Those 3 are more important than the 5. The first 2 are indispensable. They have, which is associating devotees and chanting Hare Krishna. But if circumstances forces us, if we can't associate with devotees, then we have that one left. That's chanting the holy name. That one is totally indispensable. Yeah. So we would select that one. That's what's glorious about the holy name, that we can always chant the holy name. Yeah. No matter what situation we are in or what situation we are not in, then we can open our mouth, move our tongue, and chant Hare Krishna.
Just asking a question. I don't know, vaguely I remember when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking to Ramananda Roy. Did this, I have a feeling that this question, like Ramananda Roy said, yes, chanting of the holy name was the most important as he came first, you know. I don't know. Do you remember? Anybody remember that? It's
Yeah, I
like
do.
a vague thought. Yeah.
I do.
Is that was the first kind of instruction, and then he follows on to more things.
Yeah, that's
Really?
right.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm.
Yeah.
I did hear it,
Okay.
but I just wanted to
Yeah.
confirm that I heard the right.
Oh,
Yeah.
the questions,
Thank
yes. You mentioned who's the most famous person like that, and what should one chant? Yeah, Ramananda Roy would have mentioned that. There's two aspects of that conversation. There's
Yeah. Yeah.
questions and answers like that. The one is the answers where he comes to where he says, what's the best religious practice? And he goes Vanashram, and he goes higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Higher. Yeah.
Higher,
Hare
higher.
Krishna.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Thank you for that. So number 9, how? Oh, is that the same question?
Yeah.
How can devotees practice superior renunciation? Okay, interesting. Let me just go to this here. 1 second. No, this is the subject of pure devotion. Pure devotion. 9. Okay, let's put that twice. Okay, let's go here. Okay, another subject now on the qualification for and advancement in pure devotional service. Okay, it's interesting. Why should neophytes, who by definition cannot offer proper respect to Vaisnavas, be encouraged to enter the company of superior Vaisnavas, thus jeopardizing their meagre spiritual assets? Yeah, sometimes that's a question, actually. It's a question here, and I've heard it before or heard it spoken of. Someone is such a, the longer they're around, say they're just coming to devotion, they're just entering into the Sangha of Vaishnavas. But they are completely, they are like a bull in a china shop. They are making offenses left, right, and center. Yeah. Wouldn't it be better for them to distance themselves? Yeah. Isn't what's happened to them going to, would it be, we might advise them, actually, you're making so many offenses. Just don't come back to the temple.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that, sorry, Prabhu.
yeah, Mahalavanga, please, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they need the mercy, and the Vaishnavas, they're very merciful. So they won't take offense, although Krishna may take offense, but by the Vaishnavas' mercy, they will start to make more advancement by being in the association of more senior devotees. And
Correct. Well done. Mahalavanga's hit it exactly. This is what Maharaj explains here. He mentions that, yeah, it's true. Neophytes, their position is tenuous. You know what tenuous means? It's very, they're walking on thin ice. It's very tenuous. And he mentions, interesting, is that they fall down when they stay away from devotees, and they risk falling down when they mix with devotees. Yeah. But the point that Mahalavangas make, point is, you cannot make advancement without sadhu sangha.
Yes.
So you have to go through the challenge. They have to go through that challenge for neophytes. And as Mahalavangas said, devotees are very merciful. They're very compassionate. So they're going to overlook a lot of the wrongdoings of the younger devotee, unless they do something very drastic and serious. Yeah.
There's a verse, Prabhu, in a Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastra Kahe, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha Sarva Kashta Hai.
Yeah. Translation?
just, I mean, just by association with the devotees, you know, all the problems goes away. So association of devotees is very important.
Yeah.
All the Shastras says like that. Sadhu Sangha, Shadra Shastra Kahe.
Yeah. That's the only hope they got. So you don't want to be advising someone to leave. That's unless they're physically assaulting devotees, and that's something else. And obviously they should be asked to leave. And also we shouldn't sometimes a more mature devotee may wrongly conclude after kind of perhaps some unpleasant exchanges between devotees that now I should conclude I should steer clear of the sangha of devotees. Yeah, because I'm making offenses. Yeah. The best thing to do is to stop making offenses. Yeah. That's the correct thing to do, is to adjust yourself, adjust your mentality, but you have to stay in association of devotees, you know. So Marge mentions here that beginners must carefully avoid ingratitude. Yeah. So those very persons you become unpleasant to those very persons who have lovingly invited you into their association. And then because of the different anarthas, one becomes ungrateful. Yeah. So that should be avoided. And he mentions, I'll just read this, they must control their rebellious nature, even during periods when doing so is difficult. And they must stay among devotees. With the strength derived from their devotional practices, especially from chanting Hare Krishna in the company of Vaisnavas, neophytes must tolerate the inconvenience they feel from the reactions to their offensive. If they preserve in time, they will overcome the lower nature and rise to the status of intermediate devotees. Yeah. So for the most part, you're going to find devotees who distance themselves from the sangha of Vaishnavas. Okay, they made that decision, but they're not going to make much advancement. Yeah. As it Prabhupada says, if you can make advancement outside the association of devotees, one is living in a big hallucination. Yeah. So that answers that question, I think. You know, why should neophytes who by definition cannot offer proper respect to Vaishnavas be encouraged to enter the company of superior Vaishnavas, thus jeopardising their meagre spiritual assets? Now, that may have to be managed as well. If someone is really rough and is like a bull in a china shop, then you're not going to probably ask them to serve the senior devotees. You're not going to put them in certain positions, you know, where they cannot be trusted, you know. So you're going to have to think of how to engage them. Yeah. Probably the best bet for some is to go downstairs, go in the kitchen and wash the pots, you know, rather than serve so-and-so Maharaj. Yeah. Better you go wash pots. So the managers probably have to be a bit intelligent about how to engage persons, you know. We have to be a bit discriminating for their own benefit. Yeah.
That's the best. That's the best service, Prabhu, because Gaur Govinda Swami, when he started, he used to do the cleaning of the bathrooms and all those. He said, "This will clean my heart." So
menial service.
Yeah. So I think that's the best. It doesn't involve any politics.
Yeah, it's clear. Just wash pots, do something menial, keep life simple.
Yeah.
One senior devotee, I mean, I won't mention his name, Prabhupada disciple, and he's been through the mill a bit. And I was with him somewhere. I forget. There was a couple of stories with him. We were speaking. He said, he concluded that of everything he's been through, that I wish I'd stayed cleaning pots. Rather, because he got into management, he was a temple president, he was this, he was that. And then he got, you know, got spun out of devotional service, and he kind of hit the rock bottom, and he came back. But his particular, you know, kind of conclusion was, he's a bit half joking once, but a serious point to it. He wished he'd stay cleaning pots than become a temple president. For him, it didn't work out so well. Yeah, but still.
Then how does, just a question there. Then when the devotee comes in and he's like in the Sangha of devotee, then how does one progress to all the way to temple president, and then they kind of make offenses and then they come down? So like, isn't Krishna?
Well, there's various reasons. There's various reasons. There's maybe various reasons probably, and it will be different for every person, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes it may be, ultimately, it may be what they need. Krishna may arrange these things for their purification. You know, as you say, Krishna always is overseeing a devotee. Krishna never lets them go. So the reasons may be varied. But Krishna, we should always know that Krishna's always working for their welfare and their upliftment. There's a statement of Prabhupada, I have to find it actually again, where Prabhupada says that Krishna is always attentive to our advancement. He's never inattentive. He's always looking for ways. So for some, to advance might mean you have to get your face rubbed in the mud.
But
it might mean for you to actually come to the humble conclusion. For some, it might mean that, you know. Better learn by hearing.
But Krishna will always look after devotees. You know, when we surrendered, then Krishna will always look after them.
Yeah, he'll look after them. And even if one becomes unsurrendered, I mean, they're not going to make advancement. But Krishna is going to be looking for opportunities to dismantle their hopes for material life, you know. So he's going to help them in that way. Yeah, and because what you do, if they stop the process of surrender, they stop chanting Hare Krishna, then they're not going to lose anything, but they're not going to go anywhere either. So Krishna's going to, you know, Krishna's very patient. He's going to wait. He's going to arrange things. You know, how Krishna works with each individual is actually quite mysterious, you know. And it's not what's the word? It's very unique to everyone. Very unique. Very unique.
Well, to the degree we surrender, he responds accordingly, isn't it, Prabhu?
Yeah. It's just 7 o'clock, and we have these questions left. So perhaps next week we'll tackle these on.
Before you go, can I quickly ask you, what time do you want the class tomorrow? Because last Wednesday you had something as planned at 6. Do you want it at 5 o'clock?
Yeah, can we do it 5 o'clock?
Yeah, perfect. No problem.
So next week, just keep these questions in mind. Isn't it offensive to scrutinize and then judge Vaishnavas' qualification and advancement? Yeah. Isn't it artificial to offer respect to devotees whose efforts at advancement may be impetuous and short-lived? Why do even advanced devotees appear to have defects? All right, we can have some good gossip about that one. So let's try not. Let's think we can remember these questions. It's in the back of the Bhakti Chintamani. If you want to have a look in your own time, you can, and then we'll go on there as well. Yeah. Okay, thank you, everyone. Wonderful discussion today. Thank you for joining us. And
thank you. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu ki jai. Thank you so much, all the Vaishnavas.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.